everybody. So we are going to continue talking about solving equations, but right now we are going to focus on just specific examples with fractions. Okay, so let's look at this example number 1. We have 4x minus 5 over 7 equals 7. I have a little blurb right here to help us. It says, since the x is grouped in the fraction, because the x is right there within the fraction, we have to multiply by 7, the inverse of dividing by 7, to get rid of the fraction. Then we solve. So I'm going to multiply, parentheses mean multiply, by 7. All that does is it gets rid of the 7. It does not do anything to the 4x minus 5. Bring our equals down. Now think what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. 7 times 7 is 49. Okay? So now we can keep going here. Now we're going to do our split or our box method. Bring the 4x down. The negative 5 becomes positive 5. Bring the 49 down. So we have 4x equals 54. Okay? Divide by 4, divide by 4. You should get x equals 13.5 right there. Okay? So, to think about it in a simpler, smaller way, we multiplied by the bottom, we split, and did our box method and solved. Okay? I'm going to add that 3. Solve. Okay, so let's look at number 1. I'll give you guys a quick second for you to try it. Just pause the video. Okay, let's go ahead and look at it. Well, we say our fraction is our variable is inside the fraction right here. So we're going to have to multiply first. Multiply by 4 on the bottom. So bring the x minus 5 down. What I do to one side, we have to do to the other. So negative 4 times 4, we get negative 16. Okay, now we know what to do from here. We just do our split. The x comes down. The negative 5 goes over, but comes positive, and negative 16 drops. So we have x equals negative 11. Okay, we got one more. I'll let you guys try it. Go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so let's look at it. So we can solve it, but I don't like the x being on the right. I'm used to the x being on the left. So we're going to do what I call make a mirror. You don't have to do this. This is totally optional. This might just make it a little bit easier for you to think about. I'm going to take this, move it over there, drop the equals down, and then take my negative 7 and move it over there. We didn't really change the problem at all. We just flip-flopped it. Okay, now we can solve it like we did. Multiply by 5, multiply by 5. So we get 2x plus 1 equals negative 35. We do our split, bring the 2x down. Positive 1 comes over, becomes negative 1. Negative 35 drops. So we get 2x equals negative 36. Now we just divide and divide. X equals negative 18. Okay. So there's 3 examples of when the x is grouped inside the fraction. Let's look at the other example now. So we have 2 over 3x minus 6 equals negative 8. So our little blurb right here says the x is not grouped, so you add the 6 before you multiply, and then you solve. So it's not grouped within. So we are going to do our split, and we are going to add the 6. The 2 over 3x, that just drops down. And then bring the minus 8 down. So we have 2 over 3 x equals 6 minus 2 is negative 2. Okay, so now we have that fraction still. We are just going to multiply by what's on the bottom. So we have 2x equals, where did my 6 go? Or not 6, negative 2. We're going to multiply by the 3. So we get negative 6. Okay, I'm going to move up here so I have a little bit more room. Equals negative 6. Okay, now we're just going to divide to get rid of the 2x, or get rid of the 2. So x equals negative 3. So kind of our simple steps I wrote out. Number 1, split, do the box method. 2, multiply by the bottom. And 3 is solve. Okay, so let's look at 2 examples. So number 1, we have x over 3 plus 4 equals 5. I'll give you guys a second. You guys solve it. Just go ahead and pause the video. Okay, so we see that the x is not grouped in one big fraction. So that means we got to do our split first. So we would have x over 3 equals 5 minus 4. That's 1. Now we just got to get rid of the fraction. Remember, there's an invisible 1 right there. So we're just going to multiply by 3. That'll get rid of that. So now we just have x. Multiply the other side by 3. 1 times 3 is 3. That one was really easy. So x equals 3. Okay, let's go down to number 4, the last one. Think about how on the one over here, we made a mirror. Oh, goodness grief. If you want to, you can make a mirror if you want, but you are not going to be wrong if you don't. You guys go ahead and try it. I'm going to make a mirror because for me, that's just a little bit easier. Okay, so we do not have one big fraction. So that means we got to do our split and move the 12 over. So we'll have 3 over 4x equals 6 minus 12. That is negative 6. Okay, so now we got to get rid of the fraction. We'll multiply by that 4 that's on the bottom. So that leaves just 3x equals, multiply this by 4. Negative 6 times 4, that is negative 24. Okay. Now we have to divide. 3 cancels. X equals negative 8. Okay. If you did not do the mirror on this one, if you solved it correctly, you should still get x equals negative 8. The mirror, you don't have to do it. That's totally optional. It's just, if it makes it a little bit easier for you to think about, go for it. All right, we have one more, so go ahead and flip your paper over or do it somewhere on your paper. We have x plus 5 equals 3x plus 13. So we got kind of a lot going on here. First thing I want to do is to get rid of that fraction. Hold on. Is to get rid of that fraction. So we're going to multiply by 2. That'll get rid of it. Okay? Then right here, I have to multiply by 2. Now we see those parentheses. Those parentheses typically tell us to multiply or to distribute. So we'll have 2x plus 2 times 5 is 10 equals 3x plus 13. Well, now this just looks like a plain old problem we're used to. So we do our split. 2x comes down, 10 goes over, becomes negative, 3x goes over, becomes negative, and then 13 drops. Okay, so 2 minus 3x, that's negative 1x, equals negative 10 plus 13. That'll be positive 3. So most of you are going to say, hey, we're done because we have 1x. But look at it a little closer. It's a negative 1x. So we have to get rid of that negative. We have negative 1 times x. So we're timesing, we're multiplying. So we can just divide to get rid of that negative 1. So we get x equals 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. Okay, so there's the last example we're going to talk about for solving equations when there's a fraction inside. If you guys need any help or have any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. Thank you.